With the Penguin laying the groundwork for the Batman Part 2, I think we've gotten a lot of pieces filled in for what's next to come, and I think a lot more pieces can be filled in from just what's public already in terms of the information we've gotten from interviews as far back to even just looking at the seeds planted in the Batman 1. So I just wanted to take a deep dive into everything that will come next, whether it be the story, who the villain will be, or even just the overall lead up and logistics following this film. So starting with the schedule and the production, we do know that the movie was initially delayed. We do have a release date of October 2nd, 2026. I do think it is possible that that could be pushed just a month or two back. I wouldn't imagine it being any further than that, and I don't think that would necessarily be a bad thing since we do know that this is a winter-themed Gotham. I think that could even be more fitting. And the last update we got by James Gunn in relation to this movie was that he hadn't gotten a script yet. That would just be right before the Penguin's release. But I would imagine by now that the script is pretty much done or pretty much finalized. And we've heard from Mattson Tomlin, who is the co-writer for the movie, that they are planning to begin filming in 2025. And looking at the previous locations for the Batman 1, we know that a lot of Gotham took place in Chicago, England, and Scotland. So I think if you're going for that winter look, I would imagine that they would get on this pretty soon in 2025 because January through March would be a good time to get a lot of winter-based shots. And I think as far as the production and the crew for this movie, I would also imagine that a lot of people from the Penguin are going to be brought on. And as far as the casting goes for the returning core, besides Robert Pattinson, Andy Serkis is going to be back for Alfred, Jeffrey Wright as Gordon, in addition to Colin Farrell. And it does look like Zoe Kravitz is going to reprise her role in this. And I think you also have, of course, Jamie Lawson for the new mayor. I would also imagine that Chief Mackenzie Bach, played by Con O'Neill, is going to reprise his role from both the Batman and the Penguin. And I think some likely new members that could be brought onto this would be Kristen Milioti from The Penguin. She also received a Golden Globe nomination in addition to Colin Farrell for The Penguin. And I definitely think her story would be very fitting with Zoe Kravitz coming back. I would also imagine that Theo Rossi is going to have a part in this. If not the Scarecrow yet, he's probably going to be connected to Milioti's Sophia being in Arkham. And I would also imagine that Carmen Eogo is going to be back to accompany the Penguin. And of course, I would imagine that Councilman Haiti, played by Rise Koro, is going to be a big part in Oz's new connection to the more corrupt side of Gotham. And if we are going to get some more scenes of Batman going to Arkham, you're likely going to have Paul Dano back as the Riddler and Barry Keoghan as the Joker, unless this is saved for part 3. And as far as the villain options go, I think that's going to be one of the interesting choices for this movie. I would have to say that the big 3 options would be either Mr. Freeze, Hush, or the Court of Owls. But in addition to that, I think we'll have a lot of other secondary characters to accompany Batman. I think it is a pretty good bet that Harvey Dent is going to make his debut in this world. And I think that's likely due to the District Attorney Gil Colson being killed in the first movie. So I think Dent is going to be a replacement, along with the new task force that Mayor Real is summoning for Gotham. And I think it would also be interesting to see Robin make a debut in this, as well, as we really haven't seen Robin in live action for quite some time. And I also do think that Bruce Wayne is going to be a big part of this movie in addition to just Batman. And I think that's a completely different side of what we got in the first movie. And I think that the only real way to get any sort of confirmation on this speculation is by getting the first looks at this movie. Maybe that's some sort of a first look drop that they release long before October of 2026. Just looking back to the Batman 1, we got that pretty early on, or maybe if we got a poster that would just reveal something as simple as Batman having a new suit in this, I think that would garner a lot of attention. Or even a more bolder choice in terms of any sort of first look or poster that would highlight a new color theme, or would just provide any sort of other hint on who the new villain will be. And then of course, I think the trailer is going to be one of the long anticipated drops for this movie. I think hopefully we could get that even as soon as a year before this release, or maybe early into 2026. So really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you later.